think in the years that we've been married, we've never talked about doing like, what do they call it when the new year happens? You could do your
resolutions.
Yeah, your resolutions. We've never really done that, right? That I can.
Yeah, because it
feels weird. Like it just feels like you're
setting yourself up a little bit for, I don't know. I've never, even when I was alone before I met you. Like I never really did it either, other than like super loose ones, like go to the gym more
Sure.
or make more money. But like it wasn't
make more money.
But yeah, it was like literally just it would be nice to do it,
Sure,
but it wasn't
yeah.
never. It was I
wasn't
never
like a
felt
focused-
compelled to be
right.
like I really need to do this year. It's just like whatever.
Yeah.
It's just another year. Who
Yeah.
cares?
Well, it's a good thing that we didn't do that for the podcast because
we're so bad at it.
Well, I mean, we do what we want,
Yeah,
this whole
true.
thing is for fun anyway.
It's not like we're getting paid.
No. But yeah, so this is Film to Table. I'm Eli.
I'm Denise.
And that's Hank over there.
Oh, hey, Hank.
What's up, Hank?
What's up?
And
He's just standing there.
yeah, he's like, man, you guys really need to get paid for this.
He's like, you're not making
yeah.
enough
I
money.
need some of that fish skin again.
I was like, I want some premium kibble.
Yeah. But yeah, so we're finally getting around to talking about our favorite movies of 2025.
It's okay, guys. It's only April. No
Yeah,
big deal.
whatever.
April 2026.
Yeah, and mid-April at that.
Right.
But anyway, we've been busy.
It's been a little nuts for sure.
But yeah, no, I wanted to do this. Obviously, we were going to do it anyways. It's just, I guess we could sit down anytime we want and we can do it. But you have to be in the right mood, and we both had been sick also, and
yeah,
other
just one of those
stuff.
things.
But
yeah.
we watched last night. We were watching a movie that we missed in the theater, and then it kind of had me thinking, like, like I wonder how we I guess like subconsciously, but also like as we go and watch movies, you and I have talked like, oh, this is starting to build up as a good year for movies,
Yeah.
and then we see how it plays out. And I think it's funny because I think that only started happening after 2024. We weren't really. I don't think we were like thinking like, oh man, 2024 is gonna be a great year for movies. It just kind of happened.
Was that
way.
year where it started and we are like, oh man, we're off to a good start because the first couple movies were awesome.
No.
There was one year that it started like that. Do you remember that? I can't remember what it is we watched, but I just remember thinking like straight out of the gate in January, we went to the theater and we watched something and it's like, holy shit, we're off to an awesome start.
I think I'm trying to remember.
What that was?
So in 2024, that's what it was. So in 2024, that's when we saw like Late Night with the Devil in the theater, but it was early in the year. And then the same for like Love Lies Bleeding.
Damn, that was
and we were just kind of like, like this is interesting. Oh, and then another one was like Lisa Frankenstein. But again, we weren't really expecting a lot from these movies. And then movies started coming out like Heretic and Longlegs and Dune. And then we were just like, whoa, like where's all this coming from?
Yeah.
This is really good. And then there was like Cuckoo, and like it just seemed
shit, yeah.
So it's funny that I'm looking at the image list of what it looks like, and like most of what I think you and I talked a lot about in 2024, like these posters would be for like I think the more deep cut nerds like us, right? Because like Strange Darling was one of them as well too. Oh, and then like
such a good one.
Hundreds of Beavers was another one,
which
and
was a surprise hit.
Honestly, that was kind of amazing.
Oh my god!
But like and Immaculate was another one. But again, looking at the list or looking at the posters here compared to 2025, it's like a way different, like sort of
different.
Like it's a different flavor, but
different flavor.
We kept talking about how like I don't think anything's going to top 2024. Like it had its.
It was strong.
It had its 1984. Version 40 years later, and I didn't think we would top that. And then this year started, I mean, I wouldn't say started strong. I would say it was kind of consistent across the board.
I thought maybe remember we talked about how like oh man, it's gonna be, yeah, I remember like it's gonna be hard to top 2024 because it was kind of an embarrassment of riches.
Yeah.
And especially because it was so strong on the more kind of lower budget kind of indie movies.
Yeah, like not
Not the
mega
big,
marketed
right, not big
hit.
studio,
Right,
whatever.
right.
And then we were like, wow, it's gonna really be hard to top that.
Yeah.
Because it was so strong. And then 25, I think 2025 started off kind of slow. It's like, okay, it's looking all right. And then we started seeing.
Then it came really hard. Like
Yeah.
it hit hard,
Yeah.
like in the spring into the summer.
Into the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it's funny, right? Because we were talking about this the other night when I was telling you that the Gen X in me was talking about, I remember being in high school and thinking like the music that is happening right now, like I did not take it for granted. Like I
Sure.
was like, wow, like this is something,
Like it's
this is like
definitely-
something I've never heard,
definitely special, right?
Right. I got to be there in the height of Nirvana and Pearl Jam and Soundgarden.
Yeah.
And I mean, just bands that redefined music. They created a new genre, and I was like in high school.
Right.
Like I was like a freshman or sophomore in high school. And so like to say that it had a massive influence on my life would be like, that probably doesn't even give it enough credit.
Sure.
And I feel like the same could be said for 2024. But then when 2025 rolled around, like I'm looking at the list of posters here, and while maybe it's because there's a few standouts that are like, oh, well, that's very big budgeted sort of titles.
Yeah.
But there's a mix in here of like clearly studio backed movies, but like they were still good and fun. And I was
Right.
happy how the year kind of ended.
Yeah.
Because I was like, well, I think we've like, it was funny because from an actual number standpoint, or at least I had marked on my letterbox, there were 29 movies that I had marked as my favorites for 2024, and there's only 24. No, that's not true. 28 that are listed for 2025. Even though one of them in here is definitely not a 2025 movie.
And how many did you say for 2024?
29. So just
okay.
one more.
Huh, that's
But
interesting.
Just one more, but at the same time, like I said, one of the movies that I have listed as 2025 is not technically. I mean, I don't think it is, but I think maybe it just because it had a very extremely limited release, and then we ended up watching it on Shudder.
Right.
And I think the listing for it is 2023, but I think that was like when it was technically released, but I don't think it made its way into Shudder until like
Gotcha.
2025. But yeah, I kind of want to just jump into what we're kind of thinking. Again, I guess what I was saying before I cut myself off, which is like we watched last night, 28 years later, The Bone Temple, and that came out I think in January of this year, and it was like the start off of the year, and I really wanted to go see it in theaters, but I think I don't remember, we were just doing a lot.
Got caught up with something.
Yeah, and then we missed it, and it was just one of those things. But then I remember like Josh saying, like, he's like, oh, it was really good. And it had been in our queue of like, oh, yeah, we'll get around to it.
We should watch it.
But and I think that's, you know what, I think it's because we were traveling for the holiday, and then we came back, and then we immediately got into doing just like work and stuff.
Projects and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then like it was like it's April. It's mid-April. and so we were finally getting caught up on some of the movies that we missed in theaters at the start of the year. And I had really been wanting to watch that because I was kind of curious. I was like, I don't think it's going to be better than or the 28 years later, which I thought was like very solid. I thought it was really good. But I mean, you know this, and it'll probably show up on our list for this year, but I really enjoyed it. Like we watched it last night, and it had easily one of my favorite moments that I've had in a like I was kind of bummed that we didn't see it in the theater because of that one scene, and because I was just like, oh man, I loved it so much. And again, speaking to the music of it all, like I think it just hit like a real nostalgia spot of like listening to heavy metal music, and I was just not expecting that, and so it was such a great fun. I think like you said, it was a fun movie. I actually thought it was a little bit deeper than like the more I kept thinking about it. I was like, oh man, this is really, and of course written by Alex Garland, so of course he has something to say.
Yeah.
But and it wasn't directed by Danny Boyle. It was
Nia DaCosta.
Yeah.
Who did the Candyman?
Yeah,
reboot.
the new Candyman, and I thought it was great. And I was messaging Josh last night. I didn't realize they're making a third one.
Oh.
I didn't know that because I was like, well, if it ends the way that it ended, I'd be fine with
I
that.
can kind of see that. Yeah.
But apparently, Danny Boyle is doing this because he
Coming
wanted
back.
it to be a full trilogy.
Interesting.
So I was like, well, okay, like
Sure.
I'll be curious to see where it goes. I hope that Alex Garland is helping write that, but
It's just interesting to see those different points of view as far
Yeah.
as the storytelling.
yeah. Well, then I guess if we're jumping into last year's movies,
Yeah.
Not Bone Temple, 28 Years Later was actually one of them.
Yeah.
And I got to see that in theater. I think you were traveling or you were out of town somewhere
Was
because Josh and I went and saw it in the theaters
Sounds right.
while you were out. And then I remember when you came back, I told you, I was like, I'll watch that again because I actually really enjoyed it. I
Yeah.
was really surprised. It's kind of funny because like, we talk about, or they was talking about like, oh, remakes and just like, or where are all the original IPs? And I found that it was interesting that they were still keeping the 28 series alive.
Yeah.
And I was skeptical about it. And then when we watched it in theaters, I was like, wow, that actually hit, like, I wouldn't say as much as the first one, but it hit pretty good. And I was like, man, that was really fun. It pulled on a lot of different, like, heartstrings and stuff that I wasn't really expecting. And I definitely thought it was better than even anticipated. Like, it was definitely not on my list of, like, it was one of those, like, if we watch it, it'll be fine. But watching it in the theater, it really like changed that experience, and I thought that was a lot of fun.
Are you starting your list? Is that part of your list?
No, I'm just kind of talking through some of the ones that were. I don't know if there was anything on this that that sort of resonated with you. Like another one I would say is like Thunderbolts. Like
that was okay. It's kind of interesting because I feel like the general theme of as we're looking at the list of the movies that we watched, feels like the general theme was a little bit darker as far as thematically.
That's interesting.
It feels like kind of in general a little cynical, a little darker.
Yeah, I can see that.
Definitely nothing too happy-go-lucky in this list.
Well, it's funny because like Thunderbolts was fine. Like we watched it here. It's on my list of like, top 2025 only because like I guess my expectations were very low. And we watched it and I was like, you know what? That wasn't
not bad.
That was not bad.
Not bad.
I don't know if I would go back and rewatch it, but at the same time, like
it's
the Marvel
pleasantly
movies,
surprised.
Yeah, the Marvel movies are getting harder to do that. It's like if it was on in the background, I don't know if I would keep it there. Like I'd probably change it because I don't remember tons of memorable moments, but I did like at least what they were doing with it. So I thought that was kind of like fun. I felt the same way with Fantastic Four, and you can stop me if any of these are on your list, but I don't imagine they were.
No.
But again, like Fantastic Four, it was all right. Like it was fun. We watched that in the theater, right? I'm almost sure we did. We may watch that.
That one was fine. It was
a good popcorn movie.
It definitely rested a lot on like the charisma of the actors, more so than how compelling the narrative was. Like the fact that it was really fun to watch Pedro Pascal or the other people on there. Like I think it leaned really heavy on that.
Yeah, you're right.
Because kind of otherwise it was fairly, like you were saying, kind of forgettable.
It was, but at the same time, like I didn't leave the movie going like, ugh.
Yeah. It's all right.
It was like, you know what? If they're gonna add that to the Marvel universe, and we'll end up watching whatever is equivalent to the end game or whatever. Like, okay, sure. Like,
totally.
Adds a little something. It honestly, when I used to go to the comic book store a lot and we'd go on, I guess I can't remember if it was Comic Book Tuesday or Wednesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday when they would do the drops and we would go and go to the comics book store and get our pulls. Like I always felt like this movie felt like, oh, I see something on the shelf and I grabbed it. It was okay.
Yeah, it was all right.
But I don't know if I would go back for the rest of the series.
Exactly.
But
it was fun enough.
It was, it was, I don't know if I added to my pull list.
It was, what is it called? Inoffensive.
Yeah. And so there was that. Then another one that I saw, funny enough, on an airplane ride back from Canada when I was up there for work, I watched Minecraft.
Oh.
And it was funny because, like, I needed something to put on.
Yeah.
And I think it was on their in-flight service. And I was like, oh, I'll just put this on. I'll probably fall asleep. and I watched the whole thing, and I actually like. I didn't want to again. I had a lot of fun with it. If I had seen that at the theater, like with, well, I was gonna say with my nephews, but he's listening. He's like 33 and has a kid.
He's like, "What do you want to watch Minecraft with me
Yeah.
for?"
But if I had like, if I had like my I don't know nephew. Oh man. Or somebody like who's younger, who's more
a child,
yeah, someone that's more like attuned or in the world, like into Minecraft, like that would have maybe been a fun watch.
Maybe my nephew, actually.
But it was, I mean, it was fun. I showed it to you. I remember showing it to you because I told you, like, if we need a like,
just don't want to think, turn your brain off.
Yeah, and have a couple of chuckles here and there. Like it was adorable.
Yeah,
I guess is a way to put it.
It was cute for what it was, and I can see like people with kids also enjoying it while their kids were enjoying it. I can see that.
Yeah. Like it exactly. Like it felt like one of the early like Disney movies when you would everybody has fun and
the
it's
kid
not,
gets something out of it.
Yeah.
Parents are like not incredibly bored or whatever. Then,
it's funny when you can tell like when the Gen X generation is directing these movies because all the references are more in tune with like what parents and people of that generation like.
Sure.
The whole Jason Momoa character, fit in the vibe.
Being,
I mean, it's the same guy who directed what's his face? Napoleon Dynamite.
Right.
And that's why it was like, okay, I can see the goofiness, and like Jack Black wasn't too over the top. He was just enough over the top.
Just enough Jack Black, yeah.
Yeah, and then like the side characters were like fun, like they had their little moments. So I thought that was kind of fun. And the same for like the Running Man. I thought would like.
I gotta say, I was a little disappointed in the Running Man. The more I sat on it,
a little bit. Like I actually want to kind of go back and watch it, but
I just have such high. I don't know. Maybe that's on me, but I just have such high expectations of Edgar Wright. Yes. I think that was a little bit of a letdown. Because even though I know that Last Night in Soho, as much as I love it, I know not everybody did, and it wasn't like.
Yeah, it wasn't.
It wasn't very. Darling. Yeah, it definitely wasn't wide appeal. I don't think, but I loved it.
Yeah.
And I was kind of hoping for a little bit more of that flavor of Edgar Wright, which I didn't necessarily get in Running Man.
Well, and that's why I was saying, looking at the posters, like I see that one for the Running Man, and I like for a moment when we were looking at, I almost forgot it was Edgar Wright because it's not. I mean, I'm glad he did it because it had a lot of the flair of the things that we like that he does.
Yeah.
But it was definitely probably washed with a bunch of Hollywood notes of, well, the audience needs to know about blah, blah, blah. Make sure you explain it in great detail what it is because our audience is stupid. It's like, okay.
Yeah, it just felt very watered down from what it could have been.
Yeah, for like his style and Flash. But when it had those moments, like it shines.
I think like the good moments could have been like really strong. It just kind of got watered down by everything else.
And I feel the same for like Superman, and
that's interesting.
No. I guess I should rephrase. Superman I enjoyed Superman quite a bit.
Okay.
Like I thought it was a lot of fun, especially. But again, I think the dog won out for me. Like if that dog wasn't in the movie, I think I would have been like meh. It would have been like Fantastic Four.
Oh, interesting.
And I feel like if it wasn't for the dog, I wouldn't remember as much of the movie.
I can kind of see that.
But I really enjoyed it. And one of the favorite things about that was, because I want to say I was visiting. I was visiting my parents.
You watch it with your dad.
My dad was like, I want to go watch the Superman movie. I was like, yeah, let's go do it. And it was fun to watch a movie with my dad, even though I accidentally bought us like 3D tickets because I didn't realize, I don't know, there are limited choices down back home, and we ended up getting the 3D movie. And I asked him, I was like, well, what'd you think? And he was like, I like the original, like Superman more. And I was like, yeah, I can kind of see that. Like it was a lot. It was a little bit much. And the 3D didn't help, but it did feel like a bit much. But when I watched it with you a second time, and I really appreciated the dog, I was like, okay, yeah, this is fun. And it was funny because I remember my dad and I were both like, I like the dog. Like we both said that. More than we almost like Superman. I mean, even though he was very good, and Lois Lane was like spot on. Like she is
That's maybe my favorite iteration of Lois Lane.
Even like, more though than Margot Kidder.
To be honest,
Okay,
like I didn't really necessarily grow up on the Superman
sure,
movies, so it didn't like those don't hold as much relevance for me as
sure.
anything else. But like I've seen them,
Yeah, yeah,
I've watched them, but and I like Margot Kidder and I like Lois Lane in that movie. Okay, but like I don't know. I
no,
just
no, no. It's
those
totally
movies
fair.
never like hit for me very
Sure.
much. But this one I thought maybe my favorite iteration of Lois Lane.
No, no. I mean, I think that's totally fair. I mean, the only like argument, right, that anybody would have is that like, well, she's based on like like the version of this Lois Lane
Yeah,
is like an iteration of Margot
the Margot
Kidder,
Kidder version.
and unless they had already
Fair.
developed that, but at the same time,
Yeah,
it's
that's
like, well,
fair.
come on, like, and
I mean,
there's
it's
nothing
it's
wrong
it's
with
Superman, right? How really like how out
how
of
original.
out of box can you get with
Yeah,
Superman?
exactly. But I thought like all the characters in that were
Yeah.
fun. I really
I
thought,
thought it was a little it was pretty good, like refreshing. I really like the actor that took it on. Like I thought he played the Superman character really
right.
well. Like he was super charismatic, he was super
Yeah,
likable. He wasn't just this like stodgy
yeah,
like I'm I'm good
yeah.
and that's all I do
Well, the
is
way they
good.
wrote him too, right? Of
Right,
like
totally.
he's very Spock in that he's more human than human because
Right.
the fact that they, and then that's the one thing that bugs me about the Superman character in general is like, okay, well, he's Jesus, so like you really can't. There's not a whole lot you can do to him, and then whenever
Yeah.
kryptonite feels so cheap,
Yeah, it feels like a cop out
but
half
I
the
felt like they
time.
really did a good job with this one of like
Yeah,
making him like he has imposter syndrome. He
totally.
has tons of flaws, and it's
Yeah.
great to see that because it resonates more. I mean, the fact that he can't even control the dog is
Love
like
that.
it's perfect
Yeah, the
because
dog wasn't perfect.
right, like half the
Yeah.
time we're like, hey, Sally and Hank are great, or everybody says they're great dogs, and then we have them here in the house, and
And
like
it's just like
Sally ate one of my shoes, and
Just
like
terrorizing the cat.
yeah, Hank is like, I mean, well, Hank has
Well,
done
Hank.
plenty.
Well, Hank's perfect. It's
Well,
fine.
sure. But between that and like Naked Gun, I thought those were like just
Mm.
fine. And
Yeah.
the same for like Megan too. Like we saw that here. I thought that
Yeah.
was like
I mean, it was exactly what it was saying it was gonna
yeah,
be. Like, it wasn't really. I don't know. I think there was some part of it. What was it? I had like I think my issue with it. It was like, it was longer than it needed to be. Maybe
yeah,
was that what it
sure.
was? Like, was it longer than an hour and a half? If
Um,
it wasn't, it felt like it was.
I think you're right. Like it may have been.
Like it that kind of movie. I mean, I love a good parody. I love a good silly movie, but don't overstay your welcome. You know what I
Sure.
mean? Just like do the jokes and kind
Let's
of.
just move on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it like it. I think that what it was trying to do too much. Like she
Hmm.
was kind of an evil robot, like Ghost in the Machine kind of thing,
Right.
and
But now she's a
now it's
sassy Siri.
yeah, and what now? It's a heist movie. Like, wait, what's going on
Yeah.
exactly? Like it was. They were trying to do a little too much.
Yeah. It's
And
two
I think if
hours.
they
2 hours
just
flat.
right,
Hmm.
I think if I like whittled it down to something like I would still have loved the silliness and the
Right.
over the top and whatever.
Well,
It just didn't.
it's like the kids say. It understood the assignment.
I think they
Um,
moved past that saying
well,
maybe. I
okay.
don't know.
Well, I'm just now getting caught up to it, but they understood the assignment and it was fun, but they also like overstayed their
Way
welcome of
overstayed.
like
Yeah.
when the teacher's kind of like, okay, that's enough. You can
That's
sit
why.
down
Yeah,
now.
you guys did the
You got it.
jokes. It's
You're
fine.
intelligent. You're
Yeah,
really smart.
you're real
I get it.
funny. Shut up
You single spaced on college rule. Like good for you. Um,
for you.
please sit down. You're not getting an A plus.
I'm
You're
not.
just getting a
I'm not breaking the curve.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, some of those were like the ones that sort of
Yeah.
hit some high points for me. The one that I'll mention that I said that was I don't remember the timing of it,
Yeah.
but the one that was a humanist vampire seeking consenting suicidal person.
I think that's been out for a while.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Or-
Like I want to say we watched it in 2025,
I
like
think we
early,
did.
but I think because Shutter put it out really late, or it had like that limited window, and then I think it was maybe available to purchase, but it was like not
Oh, I
widely spread. And then we eventually watched it on Shutter.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. I had a lot of fun with that. And then, and to me, maybe this will transition us into some of our more favorite movies. I mean, there's a few on this list. Like I know Sisu Part 2 is not on your list.
Yeah,
Um,
no.
and The Monkey is probably not on your list. But that was fun.
That
Like
was fun.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, so I feel like there were a couple there, but that one in particular, like, got me really excited again for like movies of like foreign. Like last year we had Red Rooms was like one of my favorite movies, which was near the top.
Yeah.
But seeing a movie like this where it's like, man, I love seeing when you get these international films of
True.
people like just doing their thing, and it feels like our your brain expands a little bit of like it always reminds me of when we went to Japan and we saw like we went into the horror themed bar, the Death Match in Hell,
Yeah.
and remembering that it's not like only people in the United States like horror, like everybody does, and they have their different perspective and view on it. And I really liked this movie because it was like it like was trying to be funny, but at the same time it was, and then it kind of wasn't, and then but it was it maintained its tone without giving up the integrity of what the movie was.
Sure.
And so it never turned like slapstick comedy, but it also never stayed so serious that you're like, oh my god, this is like getting a little too heavy. Like it rode that line so well that I just couldn't like not think about it, because I was like, man, this was really well done. Like the acting, the way that the world building that we've talked a lot about. You know, she's just a vampire and vampires exist and it's just a thing.
Yeah.
And the families celebrate when you get your first fangs or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that, you know, she's kind of she's very like it's they them, or it's sort of kind of, and she's like, I won't eat real or I won't drink real human. It has to be like artificial or whatever.
Right.
And it's just, you know, like I know it's a little bit of a take on our current, you know, climate, but at the same time, like done in a fun, tasteful way that's not disrespectful to anybody or anything along those lines. It's just a young person trying to figure out their shit, and they just happen to be a vampire. And I really enjoyed that. Like it was kind of one of my favorite things we watched last year, even if it wasn't
I can see that
technically in the years of. But there are a few on here, a few others.
Quirky little movie.
Yeah, there's a few others on here, but I'm gonna. Oh, this is gonna be tough because like, we may have to circle back around to a few others that we didn't that don't end up making this list, because I think there were some good ones. But one of the first ones.
Wait, so you're starting now?
Yeah, this is probably, you know, starting on my list.
You're gonna do sound effects number 5?
No, because I don't spend that much time on these. So
just wrap it up and go.
Yeah, it's funny because this started off the year, and even though like, even though going in the premise was kind of known, it ended up being better than I thought, which was that movie Companion.
Okay.
That one was on like what, you know, and not in any particular order, just it was in the top 5 for me, because we saw that in the theater. I think we got it as an advanced screening, and unfortunately it's probably one of the last times we've been to the Alamo Draft House, and because it was an Alamo, like a advanced screening or something, and I was like, yeah, we should go. It's midweek or whatever. But like I knew she was a robot. I know that that's like a thing that was like you get it from the poster.
Yeah.
But how it all played out, and how, like, I forget what her name is, the main actor, or Sophie Thatcher, from like Yellow Jackets and stuff. Like,
she's great.
Yeah, she's great. And it's funny because you and I have talked about it. Like, you can always be like, oh, you know, these actors are pretty or handsome or whatever. She seems very like relatable and is a really good, like, just carries the character really well. Yeah. And the fact that she plays a robot with like where it feels like we're headed in hopefully a time when after we're all dead, or at least like you and I are dead, that robots make it to this point. But just seeing how shitty people can be is really like, I think we talked about this one, didn't we? Or I'm trying to remember if
I think so.
I think so.
Maybe.
But it did make me it does, the thing that resonated with me is like, and I guess again this is like the Gen X kid in me, that I have like nostalgia for everything. And so like treating your phone like garbage, like, you know, you should treat your phone with respect because it's a thing. and just because you're spending money for it, you shouldn't treat it as just like a like an item, like a piece of whatever, and I can just throw it on the floor, or if the screen cracks, I just don't care, and I'm never going to get it fixed. It's like, what if that was like what if that actually had
Oh
a response,
no.
right? Like the way that the character does in Companion.
That's so funny. It's like when you're a kid and you don't want to hide any of your stuffies in the closet because that's gonna hurt their feelings.
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta play with all of them in turn.
I feel like, and it's funny because I don't know if other people like felt that way or it resonated with people that way, but it did for me. Like I was like,
That's interesting.
this is why you shouldn't treat your stuff like crap, because you could debate, right? Is her character a thing, or is it more than a thing because it's a robot? And that's kind of the whole movie, right? Is like they are like, well, we'll use it as a prop
Yeah.
to help us do this thing that we're trying to do. But from the perspective of the robot, right? It's like, well, I'm like, yes, I don't have like a technical
Yeah.
conscious, but I mean at the same time, like that's the whole like what makes us like human
Yeah.
and
Versus
whatnot.
what
And
Oh,
so I thought it was really well
I thought it
done.
was well. It also kind of it's funny. It always makes me think, and it's one of my favorite things that I tell myself, or I tell to like when I'm either a manager or a leader or a chef, whatever. I always tell people. Um, it's a quote. I can't even remember where I heard it from, but it's the idea of like integrity is what you do when nobody's watching.
Yeah.
So I feel like, and I think that, like to your point, I think it encapsulates that a little bit in like,
Oh yeah.
okay,
A
if
lot.
it didn't matter whether you could get away with abusing something or not, would you?
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's all the whole question of like, even on a more ridiculous scale, kind of like the whole idea of the purge.
Right.
Like, if you were allowed to do all this, would you? And if you're whatever your answer is, what does that say about you as a
Right.
person? Because it's like, okay, whatever. Now it's legal to kill people. Like, what does it say about you that you want to do that?
Right.
Like, that's
That
the
you're
first thing you want to
super on
do.
board.
Like,
Yeah.
you're so gung ho to do that.
Yeah.
You know, like as a human being, if you treat something, even like, as even something like an animal
Right.
or a child that can't defend themselves, like that says more about you as a person that you want to abuse the things that
Right.
don't have any power.
Because that's your first instinct.
Right. And I think this is kind of like a quote unquote lighter theoretical version of that, because it's like, yeah, sure, you could abuse it. It's just a robot, but like, what is it about yourself in your nature that like allows you to do that?
Right.
Like,
And I think that was really, really well represented in the
Yeah.
movie, because it's like, well, it's just a robot. You paid for it.
right.
Like, you do whatever you want with it. And then that's why they were like, well, it's just sex robot, right? Because that's
Right.
like, what else are you going to do with it? You're not going to actually
Like,
create a relationship.
care about it, right? Like,
Yeah. Which, again, I don't feel that way. Like, I
Yeah.
have my favorite CRT TVs and I have the favorite VCR that I like using because it works well and I take care of it, right? Like, I don't know. It just that to all say, like, that's why it's one of my favorite movies from last year, because it resonated with me on a level that I hope resonated with more people. But if other people saw it in their view,
Yeah.
that says a lot about them, right?
Right, totally.
If they're just like, well, I mean, I don't really get it. I mean,
Like,
she's just
whatever,
a robot.
she is a sex robot.
Right.
Like, yeah.
And it's like he paid for her, so it's like whatever. It's like he can do whatever he
Yeah,
wants.
for as much of
Same
a
with the car. Or
yeah,
whatever.
exactly. For like as much of a, like you were saying, like a popcorn movie that it is, or it could be, like, what does that actually say about you,
Right.
the way like how
Yeah.
you would react if you were in that position?
It had a lot to say, and I think
Yeah.
I thought that was like really cool.
Yeah, that
about
was
it.
also in my top 5.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, then what's one of yours? Then you can go next.
Okay.
So far, we're 1 for 1.
Okay.
We've hit.
And this is in no particular
Sure.
order, obviously, because
Right.
another one of mine, I would have to say, is Hard Eyes.
Oh, interesting.
Which is, I know it's
Okay.
kind of a curveball because I'm looking at this list and there's honestly a lot of strong contenders.
Yep.
But I think Hard Eyes scratched a very specific itch
Sure.
in my movie brain.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of all those, like, early 2000s kind of teenage
Well,
scary movies.
You're 90s.
That's
of
like,
my,
that's strictly in the time that I grew
Right.
up. So everything from like, I Know What You Did Last Summer. What is it called? The one with Frodo in it, where the teachers are all aliens.
Oh, the faculty.
The Faculty.
Yeah.
Like all of those kind of teenage horror sci-fi stuff.
Yeah, the start of
I love all that.
The whole what's it, the Dead series, the Final Destination series,
Final Destination.
all those
All
movies.
of that
Yeah,
shit,
yeah,
like
yeah.
straight as I was growing up in like high school years. So
Yeah.
like that, all of that like
Mhm.
holds a really specific, special place
Yep.
in my heart. I'm a big fan of those kinds of teenage movies, and I think Hard Eyes. It's been a long time since a movie has captured that
Yeah.
feeling, and I think Hard Eyes did it really
That
spectacularly.
that was right on the edge of making my list. It's funny
Really?
that you
Yeah.
were saying that because I was looking at it going
I
like
have such a soft spot for it because it really hit all of those
it.
great
Yeah,
notes.
it did that really
Yeah.
well. It was fun. It was gory. It
It
was
was
like
silly. The main
it moved
characters were
along.
super likable.
I love
Uh,
that they also put it around. They put it out around Valentine's. Like
Valentine's Day, which
it was a good.
you can't have enough
Yeah,
Valentine's Day scary movies.
it was a good watch in the
Um,
theater. I remember
it
when we
was
saw it.
fun.
We had a
I
lot of
think it
fun.
was genuinely a really good like kind of popcorn flick. Like
Yeah.
it was. That was maybe one of the more fun movies we saw last year.
Yeah, because it didn't, even though like sure it probably fell into a few tropey things here and there. It didn't matter because it was very well executed
Yep.
on all levels of
Yeah.
like how it was filmed, how the actors like portrayed it,
Yeah.
the character, like the Hard Eyes character, like
Yeah.
the design. It's funny, right? Because it's one of those things where it's like, you know, that a lot of the notes on that were probably like, well, you got to have the iconic, like we got to be able to make this as a Halloween prop. It's got to be
Yeah.
as big. I mean, the thing that I think studio executives or people that are in those positions forget is like you can't make a Freddy Krueger or a Jason
No.
or a Pinhead, not because you can't design something as cool as them.
Yeah.
That era and genre that involved the video store and everything, like that whole thing is like a movement. Like
Yeah.
it's a
It's so specific to the
Right.
time period, to the zeitgeist, to
that
like
doesn't exist
the
now.
culture.
Right.
Yeah, it feels so different now. You're never gonna get those kinds of
Right.
iconic figures.
You're not going to walk
anymore.
into a video
Yeah.
store. I mean, it's a bummer, but you won't walk into a video store with a big standee of the Hard Eyes like mask
Right.
that
which
has like the
such a
glow
shame.
lights behind it
Yeah,
or whatever,
I would
and
love
it's like
that.
now on video cassette or whatever. Like
Right.
that would be amazing, but that's
just
why
not-
you
not a
can't.
thing. Yeah.
That's why you can't have a Jason or a Freddy now because
Correct.
those are the things that help build up that expect or not the expectation, but the anticipation of that. And instead, it's like, oh, it's on streaming now, and
Yeah,
it's like that's
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Like there's no.
There's not that whole build up of like you're talking to your like, did you
Oh,
see
it's
that?
coming
Did-
out in a
have-
month. It's,
like, have
it's
you seen that? Like, you just get that hype
Right.
of like, oh my god, we're all gonna watch it together.
Right.
We're gonna go like, and then we're gonna sleep over
Right.
at
Yeah,
a friend's
because
house or
because
whatever. Yeah.
because you were watching some other movie. You were watching Superman because you rented it, but
Right.
you see the standee for like, oh, next
It's like,
month
oh shit.
Hard Eyes is coming out,
Yeah.
and it's like get pre-order it now or
Yeah.
reserve your copy now or whatever. Like all that doesn't happen. I mean, it probably does on a very very small scale. I mean, there are
Yeah.
video stores, but not in a larger scale.
Yeah. It's just
all-
not the same.
Yeah,
which,
but all
whatever.
that to say, like they did put a lot of effort into the
Yeah.
design of this character, and I really like that. Like
Yeah.
you have to appreciate like.
Totally.
Seems simple enough to just put like two eyes as
Mm-hmm.
or two hearts as the eyes, but if you look at the overall design and like everything about it, like it actually works like
It
really
works.
well.
It's
if,
a great design.
yeah, if they were to create a new like lineup of
Super iconic.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree. That one was
Yeah, that
definitely
was just really. It just made me think because I saw when we pulled up Shutter earlier today that they had put on another one of my favorite kind of guilty pleasures. They had put up Sorority Row.
oh yeah, mhm.
Which is like honestly like I'll just put that on as comfort movie
Mm-hmm.
noise because that one is so fun and ridiculous and
That's the one
silly.
with Princess Leia.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and she's
okay.
in it as
Yeah.
like the dead
Yeah,
mother or whatever.
That you could double feature that with Hard Eyes
Right,
easily.
exactly.
Like
Because it's like those young adolescent, know-it-alls,
Right.
and it's just
It
it's
just-
just fun to watch.
yeah, a modernized version of that, and it's very
Totally.
relatable. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, that was definitely one for
That's
sure.
one of I've since watching that in the theater. I've watched it a few times since now that it's out on streaming.
Yeah.
So that's a good one.
Okay, I'll pick another one.
Okay.
And I think, okay, I've already done. Okay, I've done one.
Okay.
All right. Man, this is actually a little bit trickier than I thought. Okay, I'm gonna
Right.
just do the obvious because I feel like they will hopefully be on our list. But like, Weapons was really good,
Loved.
and Weapons
Loved.
was one of my favorites because I think they did a really good job of like we saw the trailer.
Yeah.
And so we know what's coming, but to get like sideswiped by what ends up happening in the
Yep.
movie was really like, I mean, it felt original.
Yep.
It felt original, but it still felt like nostalgic to some of the
Yep.
things that we were just talking about.
Totally.
Like, maybe not like a millennial type movie, but there was something about it that just felt reminiscent of like, I mean, maybe I don't want to say just because it's an out of order movie that it's like Tarantino, but there was something about like there was an era when movies would do that pretty well, and when that's worked into a movie like this, which I'm not a big true crime person, but it kind of felt like that for me. But
Yeah.
I was super engaged. But then like the big thing, and hopefully this is a big spoiler, and hopefully you've already seen it by now, but the fact that there's a witch involved is, and I think you said it best when we
Yeah.
watched the movie, which is like, we need to bring back our witches in the way that witches should be, which is like,
Yep.
witches don't need to all be like cutesy teen, like,
Like just kind of gothy, kind
right.
of like whatever.
What happened to like
I
the
love the.
badass
I know,
witch?
like not just about, but like the real full of like spite and malice and really like terrifying
Right.
kind of witch, like the old school, like
The scary Disney
like
witch
the
that you would
witches
see.
movie witch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're supposed to be terrified of them. It's
They
not this
eat
like
children. Like
Right,
that's
right.
what witches do.
and it's not, it's not supposed to be, or there's a version of them that like, ooh, I want to be witch, that sounds cool, whatever.
Right.
But there's the version that's like supposed to be like terrifying and just horrifying, and you don't want any part of it. Like,
Right.
I think that's a very powerful version of the
Yeah.
witch lore, and I think we've lost. It's been kind of defanged over the years, and I love that they brought it back.
Well, and I think that what I loved about it is going into a movie having no idea,
No idea.
that was going to be a thing, and then we were like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like, and what that ends up doing for us is like, I have no idea where this is going.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
what's going to happen now?
100%.
Because I didn't expect a witch.
Yeah.
And
right.
what's more powerful than a witch? And like,
What did you think it was? Just from the trailer.
I just thought it was like supernatural. Like, I thought it would have been
Some
like
kinda
the devil,
supernatural.
or
Like possession or something
yeah,
like that.
or something. Yes, something along those lines, or I mean, really something supernatural. Like, I either thought it was going to be religious, or because the way the kids run in the trailer
Yeah.
seemed very like what do you call it? The ascension thing, the rapture.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah, I see that.
I felt it was kind of something along those lines.
Yeah.
Just the imagery seemed very dark and it had like a very like cold,
Super creepy.
a cold tone, like
Yeah.
or cold colors in the trailer that
Yeah.
made it feel like it was like it was demonic or something,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah. I
That's
can
why
see
the kids.
that.
So I mean, in some ways, kind of close, right? But never really thought of witch as demonic.
Right.
That's definitely not what I was thinking. I was thinking like, oh, it's going to be like the Conjuring, or something
Sure,
like that, right?
sure,
Like
sure,
it's
sure.
something, and that maybe a church person would get involved. And I
Yeah.
love that. That never really comes across. And again, in the world building of things, like it just exists in the world.
Yeah.
And so you don't necessarily question it or wonder why aren't they doing this? Why aren't they doing that?
Right,
Like
right.
it's so immersive that you just go for the ride.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe this is because, like I said, I'm not a big true crime person, but maybe that's the draw of the true crime is like, I have to know what's going to happen.
Yep.
And the way that they lay out the movie out of order or in different perspectives, you bite hard into it, and you're like, oh man, the hook is in.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I'm in it.
I'm stuck.
Yeah.
And
Totally.
so yeah, no,
It's a good one.
I definitely think,
That was high up on my list. Yeah.
yeah, I thought that one was definitely one of the big ones for me.
Okay. It's a good one.
So what was all right? I had companion and I had weapons, and you had
Hard Eyes.
hard eyes. Okay, so what's another one?
Okay. Well, I'll get it out of the way right now.
Okay.
K-pop Demon Hunters.
Oh, okay.
Because I know you've only seen bits and pieces of it.
And I thought it was great. Like,
Yeah. No, it's
I should watch it. I need to watch like the first 20 minutes, and I think I maybe have seen all of it.
Caught
at
up,
that point.
yeah.
But I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing it again. It was.
It's
really
great.
good.
It's a lot of fun. The animation's beautiful. The songs are amazing. I mean, what's left to be said? They've already won all the awards.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's hard to, as somebody that doesn't have kids, that doesn't hang out with kids, that
Sure.
don't necessarily care about what the fads are with the kids,
And the
and
TikToks.
the TikToks and the rock and rolling and whatever. I thought it was kind of, it was fascinating to me that it kind of grabbed on to me as far as like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, that is really actually really well done. It's really good. It's a compelling story, and it tells like such a different perspective from what you usually
Yeah.
see. Not only in that it's like K-pop, so it's obviously like not just Korean but Korean American, and it's about three girls, and I don't know. It was a confluence of really cool, interesting things that you've never
Right.
seen before.
But I think the big thing was, at least from what I could tell, and I think I told you this after I saw like the last third of it,
Yeah.
or I saw like probably like 3/4 of it, honestly.
Mm.
But I think I ended up telling you, it's like that didn't. I mean, it didn't feel like a kid movie at all
Totally.
by any means,
Totally.
and again because the main players, they're not kids,
Yeah.
and even though like you could say K-pop is maybe targeted towards kids, we know that that's not true. Like
Yeah.
tons of people that are adults and other
Oh,
people,
totally.
they love K-pop music, and
Yeah.
so like the story is really more about what the struggle that they kind of go through. And so I think that's why it resonates, right? It's a
Yeah.
very classic, tropey sort of, you need to believe in yourself and you
Totally.
stay true to yourself sort
Yeah.
of thing. But not often does it like stay that true to the theme without going like what, like where it gets too sappy or
Too
whatever.
cheesy. Yeah.
And it doesn't. Like it
Yeah.
actually it drives that line really well. And then it comes back around with the music in the end, because like it really is like a crescendo to that song, and it
Oh.
plays really well.
Yeah.
Like I I agree with you. Like I mean, it would be on my list if I had seen it from the very beginning.
Yeah.
And plus I didn't see it initially when it happened, because I remember you had seen it and I was only starting to hear about it at work because people would talk about
Right.
it, and I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because I didn't care. It's like, strangely enough, it just wasn't in, probably because I'm not consuming as much phone time and internet as I used to. So if it was like trending,
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Uh-huh.
It was only really because of you.
Yeah.
And I remember because you were playing the song and I was like, oh, this is like, I don't know what this is, but it's not bad. It didn't seem like K-pop music to me. And maybe, I don't know, I don't know if it is or isn't, but I mean, it was catchy.
Yeah.
And that's why I was like, oh, whatever this is good.
Yeah.
And I didn't mind it. And then when I was like, oh, it's part of a movie, well, that's cool. Yeah, and the animation styles it's like, I think I was also telling you, it's like it's a matured version of the Spider-Verse movies.
Yeah. It's the
Because
same
it is
people,
Sony.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the same studio, and they use a similar style, but they use traditional. I think we watched this on the Corridor Crew thing about how they do a lot of squash and stretch stuff
Yeah.
to make the movie feel what animated films should have,
Yeah.
and skews more into what should be cartoon, but almost like an adult version of like a graphic novel that's good
Right.
for adults. And yeah, it didn't, not kiddie at all in
Yeah,
any way.
yeah,
I thought
yeah,
it
yeah.
was like really well done, and
Yeah.
it's pretty cool that they won an Oscar for that song,
Right.
like for
Crazy.
something like that.
Crazy.
Because you would be like, well, The Lion King, this and that. It's like, no, this is different. Like
Yeah,
it really is.
It really is.
Because of lots of reasons. So that was a good one.
Yeah.
Okay. I have to add a third movie,
Okay.
and this is gonna get. Okay, I guess I have my three, even though it gets a little tough because some of the ones that are gonna be left off are just really close.
Okay.
But I think it's somewhat clear for me, anyways. So Sinners was one of them.
Yeah. Same.
I think without like a doubt, and
Yeah.
I think, I don't know. There's so much that can be said but it's already been said. I enjoyed watching that movie with you and watching your reaction to that movie because
You watched it first, right?
I wanted to watch it in IMAX.
That's what it was.
And I had gotten tickets for us.
Yeah.
But then you couldn't go because it was a school night, and I had bought tickets.
Oh, right.
But then I think you ended up having to work really early the next day, so I was like, you didn't want to go.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, that's totally fair. And so I think I got Alex to come with me, or I think Josh went. I forget.
Maybe Josh.
But in any case, we went and saw it in the IMAX. And I mean, honestly, I was like floored by like so many aspects of it. Like the movie itself was like really solid.
Yeah.
It had a lot to say. And again, much like Weapons, I knew it was going to be a movie about vampires. The only thing I remember knowing about it was about vampires in the Jim Crow era.
Right,
and I was
right.
like, wow, that's going to be awesome because
yeah.
I want to see some fucking, racist people die. Like, and hopefully at the hand of
just
vampires,
a life
right?
goal at this point.
Yeah, it's a big that's a big juicy like thing I'd love to see more of, and so I knew that, but what they didn't really show up in the trailer was how pivotal like music was in the movie and like the culture of like black culture in the Jim Crow era and everything that was involved
the
in
blues,
it.
all
And the
that.
blues, yeah. And I think, I think we did talk a little bit about this, about how one of the very few things that was actually ever created in the United States is blues music because it came from slaves.
Yeah.
And that's really unfortunate, but it is probably one of the most powerful things that was created because it has a lot of history. It has a lot of meaning behind it. And the fact that that was translated into this movie was very unexpected. Like I had no idea that was like a big part of it.
Yeah.
And so when that big scene plays out, the music scene, like I agreed with you, even though like, I don't know, like my machismo or whatever has me broken, but I was completely floored by that music sequence. I mean, and you were like brought to tears.
I did not expect that. I'm not even like, I don't even appreciate music necessarily the same way you do, because it's like I grew up studying it, or I wasn't super involved in music. I learned the piano when I was a kid, but that's about it. But like, but I don't know, it hit like a certain part of like the inside of me that was like,
because
whoa.
A huge story was told in that sequence,
just visually, and it was so beautifully
visually
done.
and audio.
Right.
But
and it feels like it's one of those things that should not have worked, and it did.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just felt like in clumsier hands that could have been so like ham-fisted and like corny.
Right.
But somehow the touch that like they all had to create that particular scene. It was, I don't know. It was beyond.
It was the perfect alignment of visuals, music, tone. Like even you can even go as far as saying like the camera work.
Yep.
The actors.
Yeah.
And their timing and the play. I mean, that's what I was saying is like they deserved an Oscar just for that scene. Like best scene in a movie should have been given to them for that, because seeing it in IMAX was unbelievable. Like it was crazy because it's so big, it's so loud, everything that's just kind of happening, you're taking it all in. And like I said, when it was over, like I literally felt like my breath had been taken away. And then when you and I saw it, I like looked over and you had like a tear running down your eye. I was like, that's the same reaction I had.
Yeah.
Except it was literally my
just
breath
inside.
of like, it was my breath of like, I can't believe I just saw that. Like, was that real? Like sort of moment. I mean, just for that alone. I mean, obviously everything else about it, like the brothers, the music, the vampires, like the fact that it was such a, and there were people that were saying, well, it's just from dusk till dawn. It's like, okay, sure, if you want to like minimalize it that way, but if it is, then it's a more mature version of From Dusk Till Dawn in a way that was like just so well crafted for a movie, for a genre movie like that like you could say, oh, it's a big budget movie. It's like, I mean, really, it wasn't in the relative space of like Fantastic Four and Superman and Minecraft. Like this movie, like, it unfairly, probably the posters are put next to like the posters of Marvel movies or whatever, saying like, oh, I mean, but that was because of the reception,
Sure.
not because of what people thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And so from that standpoint, like, I feel like it was so, like, I think that, I mean, obviously it came out so early in the year that we said like, wow, I feel like that movie carries the weight of 5 movies from 2024.
Yeah, I think we said that. Yeah.
Like, it's like,
if nothing else comes out this year, like Sinners more than made up for it. Yeah.
And I have to say, one of my favorite experiences with Sinners, because I remember we watched, well, you and I watched it in the theater, and I watched it with Alex. I think one of my favorite experiences, though, was when we watched it in Mexico City.
Oh my God!
In the hotel
in the
room
hotel
after, like,
on HBO,
right, in Spanish.
In Spanish.
And we were just like, we had our long day, and we were just sitting there. I think maybe snacking on some snacks from across the street, and it just happened to be on, and we just again kind of got
it on. Yeah,
we just kind of got in like trapped into it again.
Yeah,
but listening to it in Spanish, like, it was like watching a new movie again.
Right.
Because of how that was acted.
It still hit different, like, somehow.
And it was still like a lot of fun, and it was still like super enjoyable. And I kind of like, that's why it continued, because it's very rewatchable, but at the same time, like, I haven't gotten tired of it.
Yeah.
I mean, just the visuals are just
it's beautifully shot.
Yeah.
The acting is incredible. I mean, like, you can go on and on, right? But like, I feel like just and it's funny because I think now more than ever, us as, a society of, like, some of us being good people that want to see good things happen, ideally, but like seeing something like that being so successful, created by, like, a Black director, Black actors, cinematographer, of woman of color, like, just all of this stuff. And on top of that, not just hitting whatever, like, quote unquote quota check boxes, right? But them actually looking like they're good people. They had fun making it. They respected each other. He, like, fought for the rights of the movie. What was it? Like, to revert back to him?
Yeah, like in 20
like
years
25 years or something like that. Like, which is so historic that it shook, like, Hollywood of, like, what do you mean? Like, he can't do that.
Right.
But the fact that he did,
because it was so personal to him, and it's
so
art.
important.
Yeah.
And, like, it reverts back to him. The music was so personal because the composer was his roommate or something in college.
They went to college together.
So they've been homies forever,
Yeah.
and so that they understand that language
Right.
in the same way. He's collaborated with, Michael B. Jordan over several movies.
Yeah.
And he's worked with the incredible cinematographer, and he gave her all the power and all the credit. Right. And all the accolades, and just allowed her to flourish. That, like, it just, like,
that in itself is inspiring.
It's
to watch
just
that.
so nice that, like, as good as the movie is, as incredible as it is, what was also rewarded was the fact that these collaborative efforts were, like, non-toxic. But it was still created at such a high level that, like, everybody saw it and everybody talked about it, and it won awards. Like, I think I don't know. There's something to be said about, like, still being able to make stuff at the highest level without being shitty people.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, I think that's such an important kind of undervalued lesson these days.
Yes.
Where it's all about the chase of the money, the chase of the prestige. Where he did this, and, like, granted, they gave him a bunch of money from the studio, right? But, like, the fact that he did this, and it wasn't just like a Ryan Coogler movie.
Right.
It was just like, this is a movie with all my homies in it.
Right.
Because we want to strive for the best. We know what we're doing, and I want to showcase that we know what we're doing.
It's inspiring from a leadership standpoint, like you're saying, of, like, I'd give up a lot to work with somebody like that, because I get frustrated when I hear people say, like, well, the only way you can make anything great now is, like, only in small, like, independent forms, right? And while that is true that you have a lot more control, you have less bother from, like, stockholder or in stock investors and other people that, you know, that get involved that shouldn't be involved because they're not like creative people. Like I get all that, but I also do not believe that it's not possible. And Sinners is like the absolute
Yep.
proof of that you have to be strong. Like you have to pick your battles. You have to like know when to let things go.
Yeah.
You need to know when to give control to other people that are
Absolutely.
experts. Like
You have to be generous enough to be collaborative while still maintaining
a
like that vision.
and a drive
Right.
that requires somebody to
Yep.
probably speak up when it's like, look, I don't want to have this conversation, but we're going to have it.
Right.
Because this thing is not going the way I want it. And I'm expecting more from
Right.
you.
We
Not
all need
because
to-
you're bad at what you're doing.
Right.
It's just that if we want this to work, I need more from you.
Right.
You need to work with me. Like, I like those conversations even in the field that I do. And I'm sure you had these opportunities when you were in the kitchen too, right? Where it's like, look, you're going to have to just trust me that I can do these things.
Right.
Like, what is it that, you know, let's talk through what you're worried about, or let's figure this out.
Let's figure something out.
Because neither of us are trying to outshine the other, because the end result is what's important.
Right.
And that's what Sinners is. It was important that, like, that she had full control of how she was going to shoot it, but maintaining the vision of the director, and also making sure that the characters shine, and making sure the story gets pushed through, and that they're making use of like the music and the moments, like all those things orchestrated together is makes me feel excited again about just working in large groups and doing these things.
Totally.
Yeah, being in a real team.
Yeah.
When you know when to give up certain things for others to shine, but also giving them credit, but also understanding that, like, doesn't mean that you are not taking any credit, because you're the one that's the foundation of the whole thing. And just, I mean, seeing it in the Oscars and seeing how everybody was talking about, like you said, like, it's just very inspiring to watch that, because it's very like hopeful that we're going to get more things like this, and they don't have to be super tiny independent that no one's going to hear about.
Yeah.
And that those people aren't going to make any money. Like, good for them for making lots of money.
Totally.
Good for them for getting all the attention and the accolades. I'm sure there are independent people that are like, my movie is much better than that. It's like, I hear you, but keep doing what you're doing, because you could be the next Ryan Coogler. And, you know, I can already hear the people like, well, no, it'll never happen because of the politics of the studios and da-da-da. It's like, but Sinners is proof that if it's good, it's good. Yeah. Much like a meal, if it tastes good, you can't deny that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you can be, well, you didn't use cheese that was flown in from Italy. It's like, it's still fucking good.
Yeah.
The way that I crafted this, it highlights what I had to work with. And I feel like that's what this movie is. So anyway, to put a bow on that one, yes, it was just like, you know, it
was just good to, not only that it was a good movie, but it felt like with all the accolades that it got, it felt like, okay, a good one, like good people doing good work.
And that felt like that came through in the movie as well.
Exactly.
And however they pulled that off, I have no idea, but it was like, man, what a great piece of art.
It's just nice to see like non-toxic, collaborative team effort being rewarded in that way.
Yeah. And not only in the rewards of like recognition in the Oscars, but like people like us being like
understanding. Yeah.
We watched it like 3 or 4 times last year, and we were totally fine with that.
Yeah.
And that's the best compliment you can give to somebody who's making art, right?
Yeah.
Is I want to see your stuff again, right? Because I'm not getting bored of it. So that means you only have one left. Because right now your list is Hard Eyes, K-pop Demon Hunters, Weapons, and Sinners.
Okay.
So that means I have 2 more. So I'm gonna go with another one.
Okay, you go again.
Which I doubt it's on your list, but if it is, we'll hold off for a second.
Wait, I only have one more?
You only have one left because you have Hard Eyes, K-pop Demon Hunters, Weapons, and Sinners.
Yep. Okay.
And I have Weapons, Companion, Sinners, and then I didn't think I was going to put this on the list, but I'm going to write it down right now because that way I'm committed to it. Because there were a couple choices here that I was thinking about. But Bring Her Back, I have to put on the list because
I was real close to putting that on mine.
I mean, that's easily one of the most bleak movies I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But there was something about it that really like stuck with me, and I'm still I'm still to this day trying to figure out exactly what it is. Because as much as I love horror and gore and all that jazz, like this movie didn't really have that as much. It has its moments.
Has it? Yeah.
And they're rough. But they, I don't know. It's just, I like movies like these because they bring me back to when I was in art school. And granted, I didn't go to art school for film, but we did have to study film as part of like the animation program. And I just remember, I don't know, I've been frustrated with like in my storyboarding class and some of the other classes that I had to take that are film related. So you have to come up with an idea for a movie and you try to think fantastical. And then the feedback you get is like, well, but that doesn't make sense.
Okay.
So you need to be more, like you were almost starting to hear you need to explain more. Like you can't like this can't take place on the planet
Okay.
Zulu 2 because what is that? And like, and you want to believe that like you can build this world that you just kind of live in.
Okay.
And I just want to tell my story in it and bring her back, even though it feels, and it is like trauma driven, like movie that it is dealing a lot with like loss and grappling with that, but also like a couple other things. Much like, or a little bit like Weapons, not exactly like it, but the fact that there's like this supernatural, like satanic, weird element that's like the underground component that is sort of, it's not the main part of the movie because the main message really is like loss and grief and how you sort of deal with that and how you build those relationships through loss or whatever. But like those other elements, where those things kind of happen in there, I like that too. And then the way it's sort of like the whole, I guess the whole like premise of what the woman is trying to do with the daughter that they has there and why it's called Bring Her Back. Like I like that part too because that has a lot of depth for her and the loss of her daughter.
Yeah.
And and the links at what you would do to get your children back, right? And it's a terrible thing for your children to pass on before you do. Like you would hope that your children will outlive you.
Right.
And she's so broken, but then there's like this other like sort of secret society thing that's happening underneath.
Yeah.
And like it just works and it existed in a world. And again, it was a really like hard theatrical experience because we saw it in theater. I remember we saw it and we're just kind of like, it was like a tough ride back to the house, but at the same time, like very enjoyable. Like we had a lot that we said about it, and it was extremely memorable. And like I was saying, I guess I tend to think about the comic book era period when you would just see like a comic book that's like, that looks interesting, and then you just read through it, and you're like, wow, that was really cool. That was a cool story. And you just bought into it and you read it and then you were done with it. And I felt like this movie did that for me in a way that was like, I don't know, like I said, worked on lots of levels because, you're dealing with a very heavy subject, but also the visual like quality of it and like the sort of the supernatural element sort of things. Like I like how that wasn't the big component, but it's tied in really hard.
Yeah.
That you're like, oh man, whenever I walk away from a movie like that, going like, man, I wish they would show more of that videotape or know where that videotape came from. Like, I want to know that whole backstory.
You want to keep digging.
Yeah. And unfortunately, hopefully they won't do anything with that.
Right.
I just like having
but just
that
like
feeling.
that feeling. I think that's what a lot of people miss these days. Is like you can't want stuff, and like the yearning for that is just as fun, if not even better than actually getting it.
Right.
Does that make sense?
It's
like
the Texas Chainsaw Massacre thing. Like,
totally.
I need to leave it into my own thoughts, which are
absolutely
worse than whatever you could sell
and
me.
I think that's honestly the downfall, like why people complain about why is there another sequel, why is there another reboot, blah blah blah. And I think that's a big part of what's missing is like we don't need that. It's okay to just think about it and like. And
consumers are getting lazy and are accepting it to say like I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And so they're just going to feed it to you.
just write your fanfic if you want to know what
Yes.
you know what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
you don't need to ask the studio to make more of this, or maybe like I think that's what like going back to Sinners. Not that I want to beat a dead horse to death, but like people that are like, oh, I want to see what like where the Native Americans came from. Like, no, you don't. Like,
Yeah, I do too, but not,
I do
not
too,
in
but
a
not
movie.
in that way, because
Yeah.
it's like, it's not going to be the same caliber. It's
Right.
not going to be the same story. So it may be as good, it may not be as good. We don't need that. Like
Right.
you can think about it and you can write a little short story about it if you want to, but like
Right.
I don't know, it's
Or
almost
make
like
it its own thing. Just don't tie it back
don't
into
tie
the
it back.
movie.
We don't need that.
Yeah.
Yeah, do a separate thing. Do a whole nother
Right.
give Native Americans their own voice in their
Right.
own movies,
Not-
maybe.
yeah,
Like
not
they
a
don't
spin-off.
need exactly.
A spin-off feels like a cop-out in that
Right.
sense. Because you're not selling
Right.
the movie, you're selling the brand, the Sinners.
You're selling the idea of like vampires.
Yeah,
Again.
Sinners,
There's
right. The native
right,
troop
exactly.
or what, like no.
It's just like I get what you're saying, and because that's my knee-jerk reaction too, is like, I wonder where those guys came from. I would love to know that story. But it's okay that you don't.
Right.
I don't know. That's just like I feel like that's such a hard lesson for people to learn.
Yeah. And
like
that's
stop asking to be
Right.
spoon-fed shit.
that's why, and I think that's why Bring Her Back is on my list, because
Totally. I get that.
it's, while extremely bleak, and so bleak that I remember when I think you were working and I watched it here with Josh and Jeff.
Oh.
And the scene,
no.
the scene in the kitchen happens.
Yeah.
And Jeff was like, I'm going to go for a drive. Like, I'm,
And were you like, did he just leave?
Yeah. And I was like, I think he went to go get like a drink or something. And he's like, no, I just can't handle this right now. And I was just kind of like,
fair.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, normal people
people should not be able
to be okay with that. But it was just kind of funny because I was just like, oh, I guess this resonates with me different because I like the fact that I'm being pushed to my limits because it is something new. It is something different. Like, not to say that I'm like I've become oblivious to like just movies in general, but like I really needed, like, I feel like there's an opportunity with so many people having the equipment and the resources and stuff to like tell their stories.
Yeah.
Like, go for it and do
Totally.
it. And I feel like that's what this movie did for me, which I feel like it was original, even though it was bleak. And it was like, it's from a New Zealand perspective or Australian, which I don't know if that had a huge influence on it. But again, there was something different about it. It didn't feel very American.
Exactly.
Is the big thing. That's a big part of it for me, was like, it felt just like similar to
it's like outside your comfort of like what you think of, I don't know, situations like that, right?
Right. I don't need everything to be catered
exactly
as like, well, make it more American, make it more. I mean, it's part of the reason why I like Hellraiser and movies like that, because it doesn't look like it was filmed in America, because it wasn't.
It wasn't.
And there's just those things, whether people know it or not, it does like subconsciously hit you. Mm-hmm. And again, maybe just because I'm a video store kid and maybe that doesn't hit or resonate for other people. But I feel as like people get older, they're going to start to realize that is a real thing.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that, unfortunately, not to go on this big, tirade or rant or whatever, but like the way we have like the digital walls and all that stuff, like, oh, well, then we can film it as if we were in London. It's not going to be the same. Like,
it's really not.
You can't just say that a building from there is something to be said about the textures and the way the light in Europe is different from the light here, and the seasons and all. I mean, just, on and on.
Just
and on.
everything. Yeah.
Like, just,
you can't, there's just some things you can't fake and you shouldn't duplicate.
And this movie had that
totally.
and it just on lots of levels, like, touched me in a way that I was just like, man, that really just kept poking me in the back of the head and just wouldn't like stop. So
totally get it.
Okay, so we both have one left.
Ooh, that's tough.
Okay, on 3 we're both gonna say.
Oh, wait! I can't decide.
Well, you're gonna have to.
Okay.
I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, and then we're gonna say the movie, and then if it's the same, then we'll talk about it. If it's not the same,
but then I want to briefly talk about the other two movies. Okay.
There's still lots of other movies that didn't make the list, and we'll touch on those real quick.
Okay.
Because there were a couple here that I just didn't want to I didn't want to touch on too early because in case they were on your list, but so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to see our movie.
Okay.
All right. Look, you got to look in my direction. So we do this.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. The
Ugly stepsister.
Yes, the ugly stepsister.
That's crazy. I for sure thought you were gonna pick one battle after the other.
No, I mean,
I for sure.
Okay.
I thought for sure you were.
Well, we'll come back to that a little bit later. But yes, the ugly stepsister.
That's so funny.
I mean, I'm not going to say it was. Sinners was my favorite movie this year.
Same.
But goddamn, this movie was really close. Like,
really.
It.
For me, it was Sinners and Weapons. Well, that was head to head for me.
Well, I mean, I don't know how else to say this other than saying like those two would battle it out, and like in a I guess sort of like in a sports tournament, like in well, I don't think there's actually a tournament like this, but anyway, if you have like your number 2 and your number 1 seed playing each other, and number 2 loses, like technically, I think it was because of the Olympics, right? Like whoever gets the bronze, you don't win the bronze because technically you lost.
You just don't.
You just get
win.
something. But if you win silver, that means the 4th place person gets nothing. So there's more on the line, right?
Yeah.
For me, it's like Sinners and Weapons were like fighting for number 1 and 2.
Okay.
Sinners lost, and that means Ugly Stepsister won silver.
That's so funny.
Which means they actually won something because they really had to fight out for it.
Uh-huh.
I kept thinking about this movie for so long last year.
I mean, it's so good.
It's shockingly good.
If we're talking about different perspectives and different, countries, just different lore and different norms and all of that stuff, and yet feeling still like so much of it is universal. I mean, I think it really like hits that mark of like it still feels like I don't know, for lack of a better word, like alien to our experience.
Yeah. Even though it's one of the oldest stories
exactly
that's out there,
and yet it still feels because of that it still is very familiar, right?
Yeah.
It was just so well acted, and it was so weird that like it really stuck in your brain.
But weird only in the sense of like, because I remember we talked about this. It was weird only in that I've never really thought about that. Like the perspective of, okay, so if it's not Cinderella and it's one of the other sisters, like that is kind of shitty. If you're watching the original, to think like she's all hoity-toity and the other stepsisters are like, what the fuck? Like, what about me? And so the fact that was done in a way where it is seen from her perspective, but like you kind of are rooting for her because she's not doing anything bad.
Yeah, she's just
but
overlooked and unattractive according to everybody. Like,
right, and that's not her fault. And also at the same time, it's not Cinderella's fault that she's just gorgeous. But there was something about that perspective in that story and how it's told, and then like the way it gets to the end. I think maybe that's what felt weird. But at the same time, you're like, but maybe you would go to that depth or those degrees of like doing those things just to try to make it, even though it's highly absurd.
Yeah.
Because we're so used to like, well, Cinderella would never, I mean, she just, it's all nice for her. Whereas like the ugly stepsister's like so desperately trying to get there is like, I will literally like cut off toes if I have to, if whatever it takes. And doing all these other things with like the nose and the tapeworm, right, is like really the big thing. Like everything. I mean,
out of left field, that one. Like, that was crazy.
It's funny because, like you were saying, if you, as you say it and as you think about it, very strange, but not really. Because like how many people have done things that they're not super proud of just to make ends meet in a normal world, and even though it's an imaginary world. She's not doing anything that a lot of people wouldn't do.
I mean, those were legitimate, like, quote unquote, beauty treatments back in. Maybe not the, disfigurement of your feet, but like all of those, like breaking your nose to like realign it or whatever. That was totally a thing that would happen. And she had like a version of braces that's obviously like still a thing.
Right. and how to make her skinny and all the, but it's how's that any different, right? Of like, take this
magic pill.
Take the, what is it, the blue or the hims and hers things, and it's like, man, you're gonna want to bone for hours, like, or and you'll be super skinny,
right?
And your hair will grow back, and like
it's totally
it's just on and on and on and on,
because that's what you want, right? That's what's gonna make you happy,
and and not done in a preachy way that it's like,
no, it's just like it becomes so unhinged that it's like you feel for her, but at the same time, it's so you want to just shake her and be like, you need to stop.
Right.
You need to stop.
But I mean, what else does she have,
exactly.
right? So it's like, that's why people sometimes do the unfortunate, desperate things that they do, right? Whether,
I mean, even now, right? When you think about so many, and no judgment, because do what you do with your life, but like so many people go under the knife so that they look a certain way and they can feel a certain way, or they think they would feel a certain way,
right? Yeah, and that can get super deep, right? It's like, are you doing it for you to have more confidence, or are you doing it because
somebody said that your nose looked weird?
Or you're doing it for you because you will feel better by how people accept you.
Right.
So are you really doing it for you, or are you doing it for you,
the people
for
looking
the people?
at you?
Yeah, exactly. And again, if you, it's not to shame anybody. It's just, it's more like the depths of the things you will do
to feel accepted, to feel loved.
In a situation where, like the Cinderella situation, where you really don't stand a chance because everybody else has made up their mind.
Totally.
Like, best case scenario is like, hey, why don't you just run away?
Right.
Like that'll be the best thing for you.
Yeah.
And there are moments, I feel like, that in the movie where those opportunities and those moments are there.
It's like, just go.
Right. But
just go.
You get drawn back in, right? And again, you could easily relate this to like, oh, but I have like my college debt. I have to do this job. I have to, like, I don't want to work as a strip joint, but I do because I need the money.
Yeah.
And it's not that I'm super proud of it or whatever, but I also am not ashamed of doing it. And I just need to do what I need to do, right? Because of the circumstances. Yeah. And in this situation, right, the circumstances are like the forced marriage and the Cinderella story. It's a classic Cinderella story. So it
literally,
it really, man, I remember being floored and being like, wow, that was just,
I feel like it was
original without being original. Like,
yeah, exactly. And it was such a powerful statement about like what, it's funny because it feels almost like cliche, because it kind of is, because there's all of these already like conversations about beauty standards and all of that stuff, and like how this should feel like just another kind of derivative of that. And it, like, kind of on paper, it is a little derivative of all of that talk about beauty standards, but it's so well done and it's so compelling to watch.
Yeah.
Because it goes so hard at it. Like, it goes so extreme into like what it's saying that it's almost like you can't not watch it.
Well, and it's funny, right? Because like, unlike Cinderella, I know Cinderella's like obviously animated, but there's been the Cinderella story done in like live action, and that, plus that story has been told through other movies or whatever. But like, for some reason, this one also felt like a fairy tale, even though it felt like a fairy tale, and you're super like invested, but also because they don't, like, it's like it's a world that you just kind of believe that exists.
Totally.
And so you don't question some of the silliness that's happening.
Yep.
You're just like,
it's like, oh, I guess that's how it is over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just the way this fairy tale is going.
Yeah.
And you kind of hope for the best. And yeah, it really, really stuck. And I was like super happy to see that it was acknowledged by the Oscars for best makeup.
Right.
I mean, it didn't win, but just the fact that
they called it out.
An extremely genre movie. Yeah. That, is in our,
and like a non-English movie.
Yeah. I mean, there's just so many things about it. And like I said, like, I feel like the silver winner of like the year because it actually won like more than it just like, oh, well, it couldn't beat Sinners. It's like, well, of course it's not going to beat Sinners, but to win silver and win something instead of winning nothing.
Well, in a year that Sinners came out, you know what I'm saying?
In a year where, in a year that like one battle after another comes out and wins Best Picture.
I'm shocked that you didn't pick that one.
Well,
to be honest.
I mean, we can. So that was like on the edge of my list as well, because it was a great movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it deserved to win Best Picture. I mean, I shouldn't even say that. Not that it deserved. I feel like if you're comparing it to a movie like Sinners or some of the other ones that were nominated, I mean, there were ones in there that we hadn't even seen,
Right.
like Train Dreams and a couple of the others. But so I'm sure that like other movie, like you could say like it was better than all those movies. I thought it was one of the more like much like we were saying about Edgar Wright in a different way. Like it didn't feel like a Paul Thomas Anderson movie for
Can see
me.
that. I can totally
Like
see that.
it felt different, and I think it was maybe because it was more personal, and
Yeah.
maybe that is why it shined through and ended up winning Best Picture. I liked it a lot. I was really like, there were lots of things about it that I really liked, but I don't want to say I've seen that movie before. I feel like it wasn't as like I mean I think it's a great movie, but I feel like between that and Bring Her Back stuck more
Interesting. Yeah.
to me than
I can see that.
One Battle After Another, which
Totally see that.
it's almost like that's well executed art. Like man, that especially like that whole end scene, even though like I wouldn't say there was anything particularly like groundbreaking about it. It's just like really well thought out, and in the moment of how that end sequence plays out, it works super well. Like it's like when you have like I don't know if you're in the kitchen or if you have like something that you're like a special spice or a special thing that you're like, I don't want to just use this like on a burger or on a whatever. Like I'm gonna save this for the right moment, and it's like almost they had that sequence in mind and knew that they could film it that way. It's like they've probably thought about that for a while, and we're like, I don't want to use it on any movie until it's just right. And then in chase scene, you're like, that's it, because that adds the tension that is needed to finish out this movie. The acting's really good. Obviously, it's kind of all over the place, and it's definitely probably too long, and it touches on lots of things, and like Leonardo DiCaprio doesn't even feel like he's the main star of the movie, which is fine because it's not that he's bad in it. It's just the way the story is told.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, definitely really good and really close to making my list. Just not in the top 5 if I'm thinking about what actually resonated. But pretty damn close.
Okay.
What was another one for you on that list?
So to talk about 2 movies that should have been right in my wheelhouse, and they kind of were, but I was a little bit let down by them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the first one you would totally understand because we went round and round about it. Was Frankenstein. That was straight in my wheelhouse.
Right.
It's one of my favorite.
Good movie.
It was one of my favorite books. I love Guillermo del Toro. I love Oscar Isaac. I love the whole Gothic era. So that was like straight directed at like 13-year-old me.
Right.
As far as that movie being made, it fell a little short for me upon like kind of sitting and thinking through it. Like initially, it's kind of funny, but initially after seeing it, I loved it. But kind of the more I sat and thought about it, it's like, why wasn't it better?
Right.
Than it could have been? Because I've seen Del Toro do better, and I've seen him shoot better things, and like, there was just something missing about it. I think like, and we talked about it kind of after watching the movie. Like, I was missing the grandeur. I was missing kind of, I almost missed seeing like the over the top dramatics of what it could have been. Like I really needed Guillermo del Toro to kind of punch it up to 11 because it kind of needed that treatment of like over dramatic, like black and white. It's alive. Like I really wanted that.
Yep.
And maybe that's just me like having high expectations, but like I wanted it to be dramatic.
No, I
wanted it to be over the top.
I think
like,
you're right.
With
the monster in particular, like
it just there's something about it that needs a little bit of like over the top romance, over the top dramatics, and over the top kind of gothicness about it that I think like he found a little bit of it. I don't think it pushed hard enough for that. I also had maybe just me, and maybe I'm just not super fond of the actor. I don't know that I got the casting for Jacob Elordi
Yeah,
necessarily.
it's too
Like he
pretty.
was fine in it, but absolutely he was too pretty. Like, and I think this suffers from Guillermo del Toro's like just fascination and love for the monsters,
Yeah,
which he's always gone on and on about. But the Frankenstein's monster, at its core, he is a monster.
right,
Like, because that is kind of the point
right.
of the story, is like what, quote unquote, what
Yeah.
makes a monster.
Well, and it's funny because having what we were just talking about, ugly stepsister, right? Like
Yeah.
it needed. She is a better monster, even though she's
Exactly.
not. Like,
It is exactly that.
right,
You needed to understand why everybody would be terrified of him,
right,
why he would be a threat, why people should be scared of him, why Frankenstein detests him. Like you needed to feel all that. You can't just feel sorry for him because he's 7 foot tall
right.
and
And he's got
gorgeous and
stitches.
glang. Like, yeah, he's beautiful. Like,
Those
stop.
stitches are great.
Like,
Like
get out of here. He
it's
looks like a model
right.
still.
And maybe it's just because we are now living in an era where like we think that that looks cool, and people would probably have clothes and things that look like even the term
Yeah.
Frankenstein, right? It's like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
oh, I just threw this whole thing together from
Just
like the thrift
Frankenstein it
store or
together. Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah.
You know, like it's almost like that is what we were seeing when we really needed, like we really needed him to be ugly and
I
scary,
needed like
but his heart
yeah,
is in the right place.
exactly, because it needed to be a contrast between him and Frankenstein.
And how
Like
people see, yeah, the
a hundred
Frankenstein.
percent. Like you're supposed to see why are the townspeople chasing the monster?
Right,
You need to get it because like people are dumb and stupid and shitty. They would
right,
chase a monster without even
right.
questioning it. If he was a bad monster or a good monster.
Yeah. And,
You know what I
and
mean? Like it did it to drive home the point
right.
of like he is a monster.
I mean, you could say like to be fair, you could say like, but the people in that movie would have been afraid seeing something like that, even though we resonated with
Sure,
it.
sure, sure.
But that it didn't work.
It just didn't
It
deliver
didn't stick.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't deliver that feeling of like we should be afraid of
Right.
him when we're not, because obviously Del Toro loves monsters.
Right.
So like what is there to be afraid of? Because you can even argue that you it was even a different argument for something like Shape of Water,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like he's very obviously not very human. Like
Extremely.
right, exactly.
and
And I know like they bone or whatever, and he's supposed to be kind of hot. He's still a fish guy,
Right.
right? There's no way that you can walk around and be like, I want to, that
Yeah.
that fish guy is like the epitome of beauty.
right.
Like there's some
But the
like
beauty is found through
right
their
the
relationship.
interaction, right?
And what they built. And that is not going to be understandable to a lot of people.
Which is the point.
Right.
Like it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be weird.
Right.
It's supposed to be
Yeah.
misunderstood.
And I think what doesn't help it, even though she's good in the movie, but Mia Goth is so goth that she sees that, but then you're kind of like, but I'm goth. Like all of us watching it are like, we're goth, so we don't see. Like she's like, I don't see your disfigurement or beauty, and all of us are like, yeah, I don't see it either. Like
Right.
because we're all goth, or not all of us, but it's just the way that resonates. So it needed to be like you're exactly right. Like you hit it on the head of like in Shape of Water. Like it needed to be just this grotesque
it's just
monster.
like so out of the bounds of like what is quote unquote normal,
Right.
that like it's unquestionable of like you're like this character is the weird one for
Right.
liking this being,
Right.
right? And it should be similar to Frankenstein in that like why would I root for this monster? Oh, right, because he got turned into a monster by the circumstances of his
Right.
surroundings.
Because the people are terrible.
Because
right.
people are terrible to
and
him.
only she sees the goodness in him.
Right.
Yeah. And so
And instead, it's like, oh, I feel bad for this
Right.
attractive, enormous
so,
guy.
yeah.
Like,
and I can see why, like, by the numbers, if you watch it once, that sort of is there. But for whatever reason, for me, and I had other issues with it outside of that, really just like the unfortunate, I mean, in my opinion, the unfortunate sort of like Netflix look of it
yeah,
just
I see
really
that.
like took me out of the immersion of the world because it didn't feel grand. It didn't feel like all the things that I feel like it didn't need to be the black and white Frankenstein, but it did need to be more big in scale
Totally.
because, you know, it's Frankenstein. Like it deserves that sort of
That
care
treatment.
and that
Yeah.
treatment, yeah, to give it that. But so yeah, I
It just
agree with
kind of
you.
fell short, and like
I mean, like, glad
I
we got to see it in the theater.
I am too, and I did. It's just such a funny. It very rarely happens to me that like on like a knee jerk reaction, I love something and I sit down with it more, and I'm like, wait, I don't know if I actually did. Like I feel like that's very rare for me for movies,
Hmm.
but I think I was so ready to love this movie
Yeah,
that I overlooked a lot of it on first view,
yeah,
and the more I sat and thought about it, it's like it could have been better.
yeah,
It could have been. I
yeah.
wanted more out of it.
I mean, it's in the list of the best movies of the year, but
It's
not.
still good. I
Yeah,
just
it's somewhere in the middle
it
of the
did not
pack.
deliver the promise
Hmm.
that I wanted.
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, like the dog in Superman outshines like even a movie
Superman.
like this. You know.
Yeah.
Uh, can I guess what the other movie is?
Yes, do.
Is it Together?
No, but I want to hear your thoughts on Together.
Okay. I much like I was saying about like Bring Her Back. Like I liked the world building of Together.
Yeah.
I like that it felt. I like these movies that feel like short stories that
Mm.
are expanded to a long enough period where. And I remember we talked about it. I'm pretty sure we talked about this movie. Just about like relationships and things like that, and what that means for like modern people and things like that or whatever. And like it was a good, I guess, like what allegory for like or
Yeah. For
yeah,
being codependent.
yeah, for
Yeah.
the codependence and just like seeing that in other people or some people that have experienced it. And I don't know, it just like it really resonated in a way that I didn't think was going to. Like I was like,
Yeah.
oh, it'll be like a body horror,
Oh, sure, sure, sure.
sort of movie, which it is to a degree, but there was actually more depth to it that I liked.
Yeah.
And but like in Bring Her Back, where there's like the videotapes and they're showing like these rituals or whatever, like that kind of happens in here
Yeah, yeah,
too.
yeah.
And I like that. And it goes back to that there is another sub story to this,
Right.
and they do a good enough job to get me excited enough to know I want to know more about it.
Yeah.
But they gave me enough that it explains and helps prop up the movie
Yeah.
that the story just plays out. And I hope they don't expand on anything else,
Right.
because the imagination of what that was there and like the neighbor and all the stuff,
Yeah.
like I really like that. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought
yeah.
that was like it I don't know, I guess going back to food, it strikes me as like, oh, that looks like a little hole in the wall. And then you're like, oh, that really like that was better than I was expecting for a
Yeah.
hole in the wall,
Yeah.
because it didn't look like a lot
Like
from the
anything.
outside.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But like it had a lot,
Yeah.
and it had more than I was expecting. And I
Mhm.
feel like I don't feel super full, but I know that I'm done.
Yeah.
Like, and it was,
I think my only issue with that movie is for me personally, I don't think it stuck the landing. Like the
Yeah.
ending didn't
Mhm.
hit for me like the same way the rest of the movie did.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. It
besides
feels like
that,
it feels like they just tied it up for the sake of doing
yeah,
that.
yeah,
I would
totally.
agree, and that's probably why it didn't land for me either.
Yeah.
But again, from a short story standpoint, that's
Yeah.
how you would end a short story,
Totally.
right? It's like, well,
And we're done.
and yeah, because we only have like 20 minutes to
That's all
tell
we
the
got.
story.
Yeah.
And they just kind of did the same thing after like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
But thankfully, it wasn't like longer than an hour and a half.
No, it did what it needed to, and I appreciate
Right.
that.
It was a very well thought out movie
Yeah.
in that sense. So,
Yeah.
well, then what is your other movie then?
I was gonna say Wake Up Dead Man, honestly.
Oh, okay.
Because I
Mhm.
love
Sure.
a good murder mystery.
It was a good
And that was good.
back to form.
Yeah, it was just a little overlong. It was way longer than it needed to be. I thought it could have been a little bit more concise. But that was like right on the edges of my list also, because it was just really fun to watch.
Mhm.
What's his face? Josh O'Connor is a really great lead in this. I really enjoyed watching him. But yeah, like it could have been a little tighter. I think it's still, what is it? Knives Out is still the one to beat as far
Yeah.
as the trilogy
I mean, the
goes.
fact that they call it a Knives Out, like,
Right.
uh,
That should say everything, right?
yeah. No, I agree with you. I liked it a lot more. I mean, like Glass Onion was fine. I thought it was
I
okay.
thought it was okay. Yeah.
And if it was on, maybe I would pick up where it was at.
Sure.
But I definitely will say that this one did hit a little different, where it was like, oh, like where is this kind of going? Because they
Yeah.
they lean a little bit into what you think is going to be supernatural, but then in the back of your mind you're like, well, no, because that's not his bit, like he always is going to find a reason. But how they play into all of that and how all of that ends up coming out in the end in the wash, it's like, oh, okay, maybe not, like,
right.
And I thought that was well done. And I thought the casting was really good.
Yeah, cast was great.
Yeah, like Josh Brolin was great. I mean, just everybody up and down the list was like,
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, they hit the mark for what it needed to be, and I thought that was a lot of fun.
It's fun. It made my list of really fun kind of murder mystery.
Yeah, I think a few others that I'll just mention real quick.
Sure.
I think, and I know we talked about this one, but like, I thought The Long Walk was much better than I was expecting. It doesn't stick the landing for sure.
Yeah.
It definitely kind of falls apart. I almost would have rathered a more like together ending where it's more like short story-ish of like, let's just do something that's kind of fantastical. And instead they tried to like normalize it, and it just, I don't know, it didn't really stick
quite,
to but the journey to get there.
The rest of it was fun.
Yeah, it definitely had a lot to say, and I appreciated that.
Yeah.
Especially for like an older Stephen King movie and how it resonated with like our current times and culture. The other two that I'll mention just real quick that are on the list. I mean, obviously, like, there's a couple that I can touch on just real quick, but like, Killer of Killers was a lot of fun.
So fun.
That was like a real fun.
Yep.
Like out of left field that I was not expecting. I was just like,
Agreed.
It's on, or it's on streaming. We should watch it.
Yeah.
Not expecting a lot, and walked away going like, man, that was great.
Yeah.
I felt the same way with The Toxic Avenger.
Okay, that was fun.
That was way more fun than it needed to be.
It did, yeah. It was a good time.
Yeah, it was fun to watch that with friends. I would watch it again with friends.
Sure.
If they hadn't seen it and it was a large enough group, it was just kind of fun. Bloodlines, the
Final Destination, that was super fun.
That was a super fun popcorn movie.
I love that.
And I really like it didn't land the same way that Hard Eyes did.
Right.
But it was really close.
I agreed.
Like,
yeah, I think it was in that same
it was
subgenre.
It was a good attempt
to
try to emulate that.
Yeah.
It was a little bit, it felt like a little too current, but it was still a lot of fun.
It was super fun.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was good return to form of the Final Destination movies.
Yeah, the last two I'll just mention real quick, and mostly just because I think maybe because it was
going to end up going through this whole
list.
We're
just going to go through the whole list. But the partly because I think it was more the experience.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed Silent Night, Deadly Night because we got to watch that back home.
True.
Or when I was visiting parents and you were with me, and we were like, it
go.
literally was like if we were dating, like if you and I were dating. And I was like, "Hey, Mom, like we're gonna go watch a movie." It's like, "All right, well, don't stay out late."
Yeah,
sort of thing. Because I remember my parents were watching TV, and we were like,
"I want to get out."
We're gonna go watch a movie.
We just want to.
And they were like, "What are you gonna go watch?" It's like, "Oh, it's about a killer Santa." And then they were like, "Okay, see you in the morning."
Do you want money for popcorn?
Yeah. Do you need? Yeah. Make sure that you.
Make sure you don't come home too late.
Yeah. Just
remember curfew.
Yeah, and like it wasn't like it obviously is not the original, but it was seasonal. It was fun.
It was topical.
It was it was during the season, and I loved like it. I guess the reason why it's on my list is because it felt like we rented it and we were watching it with friends.
Oh, good one.
That's how it felt. There were enough people in the theater.
It lent a lot to the fact that we went to that theater for that movie. In that season,
right?
For me, anyway.
Yeah,
it really set up the
totally
atmosphere.
Did because South Texas, when it's like 85 degrees, and
in Christmas,
right before Christmas,
yeah,
and we're watching this Christmas movie or supposed Christmas.
It was great. It was fun.
It felt like we rented it.
I'm not too mad about it.
And there were a lot of people in the theater, and I really like that.
Also, I gotta say that main character or main actor, Rohan Campbell. I don't know if that's how you say his name. Rohan Sebastian Campbell. He's been in a lot of genre movies at this point. I don't know if you remember. He was in Halloween Ends.
Okay, yeah,
which was no good, but he was great in it.
Right.
I think he has a bit part in The Monkey.
Okay.
I remember that because it was on TV the other day, and I was like, oh, that's that one guy. So I think he's somebody to watch out for when it comes to genre. She's been really really
Yeah.
good in all of them.
Oh yeah. That's right. Yeah, she was. Yeah, she's great. Or like great in the sense of like, I want to see her in more of these types of movies.
I'm talking
Hopefully,
about
oh,
the guy that plays Santa. Although you're right, the
the
girl
girl.
in the
I
Santa
mean, honestly,
movie.
both of them, right?
Yeah, they're
I
both
hope
been
that
great. I
they
hope they stay in the B
genre,
horror genre
and hopefully
movie.
they make enough money where they
Just
aren't
hang out
struggling
there. Right, right, right.
to make ends meet. But
Because
I
they've
love
been
that they're in this genre for us
yes, yes,
because
yes, yes,
these are the types of like familiar faces like the Linnea Quigleys and people like that we
yes.
like. See, they're not super over the top, but they have a familiar
You know what?
enough of
Yeah,
a.
they do the work and they're
If they're
good at
in,
it.
yeah, if they're in that genre movie,
You
like
know,
it's like
you
they've,
know it's a good time.
yeah, because they've probably approved it if they're fans of the genre as
Right.
well, which I hope they are.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But the last movie that I'll just kind of mention real quick because it really kind of like stuck with me, and then when it was on recently and I watched it again, but Freaky Tales,
Yes, I love Freaky
I
Tales.
really really like that. I mean,
That was so fun.
it's always, if you kill Nazis, it's gonna make the list. Like,
Although to be fair, that scene was a little bit out of left field.
it was a
Sort
little
of,
bit,
kind of.
but I liked. Well, I like anthologies. I didn't know it was an anthology movie.
Yeah.
It was silly. It lives in its own universe.
Oh wait, I confused that Nazi killing spree to the Santa's killing spree. Sorry,
yeah,
my
yeah.
mistake. The Freaky Tales killing spree was not out of left field.
Right.
It's totally
Those were
within the
skinheads,
movie.
technically still
Correct,
Nazis.
correct. But
That's
the
right.
Nazi killing in the Santa movie was
Was
definitely out of
still-
left field.
That was
Still fun.
No. You're right. Out of left field, still fun. That's like shoving down a brownie, a free brownie.
A free
that-
brownie
They're like,
that you really shouldn't have gotten,
yeah,
but you
you're
did.
like,
Well, it's free, so
it's free though,
we
and
gotta
I do
eat
like
it.
brownies, but I'm definitely full, and that definitely is the Nazi killing in Silent Night, Deadly Night. But Freaky Tales, yeah, was like
It
it's
was
a lot of
fun.
fun, very
It was
well
fun.
connected. Like unlike what I was saying earlier about genres, like that's a movie that it's like I want more Freaky Tales. Like give me Freaky Tales 2.
Yes, agree.
And
Hard agree.
because it just felt like the story. I mean, even though they were all tied together, and I like that, but just the outlandishness of it, like
Yeah.
especially the way it ends with the whole like the basketball guy
Yep.
and all that. Like what the fuck? Like I did not see that coming, but it was so like enjoyable and fun, and obviously I think like the Tom Hanks cameo was just like perfect for me. Work the guy that like the older man who works at the video store and is full of video store knowledge. But yeah, no, that one was a lot of fun, and when it's been on a couple times, I've let it run
Yeah, it's fun.
in the background because
It's a
it
good
definitely resonates. But yeah, I think that's. I mean, there were obviously other movies there that we could go on and on about, but we
It's a
we're off
pretty-
to. I mean, I would say we're off to a pretty good start this year.
this year.
I mean, we've already if we're previewing us doing this again, who knows, maybe next April if we don't do it in December of this year.
Right, it's yearly April.
But we've already gotten like Send Help, which was a lot of fun, Project Hail Mary, which was good and a lot of fun.
Yep.
We got 28 years later, The Bone Temple with one of the best scenes of the year. And then we also had, again, filling in that void of those weird, wacky movies of Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. Like,
oh my God, so
that
good.
movie was so much,
so good.
so good, so original, so different. Like, I'm hoping the streak will sort of continue. I mean, we still haven't seen like Ready or Not 2.
Yes, that's right.
There's a couple of movies that are out right now that we need to get on. Like, we didn't see The Bride, which I wanted to see. I think it's on streaming now.
yeah, okay.
I really had wanted to see that in theaters. But there's still movies like from last year that we didn't get to see, like, Train Dreams, and then there was that one, The Housemaid, or the Housekeeper, or whatever. There was like that. Then there's like the If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You.
That sounds.
I mean, there's still
depressing.
movies that we need to catch up on from last year.
Totally.
But we've said it several times. Whether we'll do it or not, we'll see. But we do need to watch some of the classics and pair up our food with it. That which does remind me. Did you? I guess just out of randomness, as we're like sort of finishing up here, but like, did you see that they're going to make a Behind the Mask Part 2? the sequel
of Leslie Vernon.
Yeah.
It only took fucking 20 years.
Literally 20 years.
Literally 20 years.
And it's coming out next year.
Oh my god.
So I'm hoping that ends up
They've
being
been
fun.
talking about making that fucking sequel forever.
Yeah.
Like literally, right? We met him at a con a couple years after
and he
Leslie
was so
Vernon.
Great, and it was a lot of fun.
And he was like, yeah, we're getting it going. We're writing it. We're working on it. We're hoping to get funding.
It's gonna happen.
Fucking 20 years later. That's crazy.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a lesson, right? Of like hanging on to your dreams. Jesus Christ.
I hope it happens.
I hope so.
It sounds like it's happening, but
that's terrific. That's terrific.
Yeah.
Those were good people. They put out a good little movie.
Yeah,
they deserve another chance. You know.
Yeah, that I
love that.
I'm really kind of looking forward to that. I mean, and there's I guess like lots of, a variety of movies. It's kind of funny because then there's movies like Faces of Death that is out now.
Did that come out?
Yeah, which I'm actually.
So is a remake of Faces of Death?
Okay, so I'll give you the premise, and then I promise we'll tie this up so that people that have been listening for the past 2 hours are like, "Good Lord,
this was supposed to be half an hour.
End this already."
My bad.
But no. Like it's funny because the whole Faces of Death lore, right? Which is like it was the pseudo snuff tape that like people of my generation would rent.
That's right.
And it's like, oh, these are real deaths, and
it wasn't, right?
No,
that was just a hype.
So yes and no. The yes parts are like they would have like actual footage of like I think like things from the Holocaust or things from Vietnam, like basically
gotcha.
newsreel footage,
like footage,
right? That they interlaced into the movie because the whole premise is this doctor talking about like, do we actually know what happens when death like enters the body and like like he's trying to act all scientific, but like it's like obviously that was an actor, and almost the majority of the deaths, like 90% of them are all basically they were like visual effects guys that were just like
just fucking around.
Yeah, they were literally almost like making a demo reel because they needed work.
Yeah,
and they created these scenes. So like one of the infamous scenes is like they put this monkey. Like these people are sitting around a table and they're like, oh, it's a delicacy in certain countries to like eat monkey brains, and they put this like this poor monkey in like a table that like locks his head in, and his head's like, and then they bash the monkey's head, and then they crack open the skull and they eat the
oh my god,
they eat the brains, and so they try to say like how could people do this and take life in such a way, but it wasn't a real monkey. The brains are actually like cauliflower, like. It's funny because they're coming out with like a 4K release of Face of Death, which I don't know why.
I feel like that's a bad idea.
But I think because they found the original print and they rescanned it, but they have all this archival footage of like exactly that. It's like, well, you can see where the mannequin or the puppeteers are working the thing, and then you can see them putting in the cauliflower and sort of coloring it to make it look like brains. And a lot of the other scenes too are all like, they're all fake. But so all that to say, it was like, oh, it's banned in 47 countries, and you have to be 18 or older to rent this back in the day. They actually, when I rented it, you had to go into the porno section because they kept it. They kept it in the adult only section, and we were like, "Where's your Faces of Death?" And they were like, "Are you
get
18?
out of here, kid?"
Well, they were like, "Are you 18? Because you have to have an ID." It's like, "Yeah, I'm 18. I got an ID." And they were like, "Okay, well, it's back there in the adults only section." But it was like right as you walked in, it would be right there, so that you didn't have to walk through all the rest of the porn
through the boobies.
But so anyway, so like that was like that, and then they made like Faces of Death 2 and 3 and 4, and basically it was just more like stupid over the topness. But so apparently what this one is about is it is as if the movie did exist, Faces of Death.
Okay.
And now I guess there's like some sort of internet person who is recreating the deaths from Faces of Death.
Okay.
And they're like
meta.
they are like basically like a stalker slasher sort of person. I guess somebody who's an online person gets involved or something. So what I've heard from people is like they're actually like, you know what? That's that's how you reimagine a genre, or not a genre, but like a franchise like Faces of Death, because it's Faces of Death is basically like what do you call it? It's like Livewire. Or what was the other one? The pre-YouTube.
Fucking like Rotten.com.
Right.
That kind
yes.
of stuff.
Basically that is what Faces of Death was, but on videotape.
Got it.
But it was all fake, whereas unfortunately the internet stuff, some of that was like kind of real, but a lot of it was probably also fake. And so it's more about the lore and the what do you call it, the wives' tale of when you watched Faces of Death.
Got
and
it.
like blah blah blah. So the fact that they've taken that and used it as an anchor point for building a reimagining of like the franchise actually is kind of smart.
Is interesting.
Like
yeah.
it's like, oh, okay. And I just listened to a podcast, this is The Colors of the Dark, where they talk to the director, and it's the same guy who did that movie Cam Girl, I think, or maybe it was called Cam or something.
Yeah.
It's that guy, and he's also the guy who directed how to destroy a pipeline or something like that.
That sounds familiar.
I forget. It's something along those lines, which is a very like poignant movie. So it's very kind of out of left field for him to do this movie, but it also kind of fits in the genre of what he's done. And he had a lot of interesting things to say about it. So now I'm kind of more interested in seeing it, but I, at the same time, was like, well, maybe I'll see that when it comes to streaming or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that movie is 100% targeted at me, because I literally grew up in the era of like, I remember when I saw Faces of Death and how you would get a bunch of friends together, and it's like, not because we're sickos, it's because we're going against what we're told we're not supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
It's our version of drinking or smoking weed without drinking or smoking weed.
Got
you know?
it.
So I don't know. 2026 has like there's gonna be some interesting movies.
A lot of what is called potential there.
Yeah, but I think like I said, pretty strong, pretty good movies. Even though it is April, there's a ways to catch up, but there's a lot that we still haven't seen.
Yeah.
We've just kind of been busy, but I guess we're having to get back in form.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of looking forward to it now that the weather's getting better, and we just watched Hot Fuzz with a bunch of friends, and that was fun, and it just kind of, I don't know.
Keep going that way.
I'm getting excited for more movie nights and things, and like I said, I think we need to get back to some of the classics or some of the things that we haven't seen, and see how we can pair that up with some delicious meals and cooks and eateries and whatnot. But it seems like we need to go give the dogs their late night snack, and then maybe a little late night snack for us.
Maybe.
Well, alrighty. I guess if you have feedback or you actually listened for 2 hours,
smash that like and subscribe.
Yeah,
is that what we're doing?
all that. Yeah. Follow, like on TopShelfVideo.com or TopShelfVideo.net podcast. And follow us, leave us comments on the internets and the podcasts.
On all of the internet.
Give us feedback. Tell us movies we should watch. Give us the challenge of giving us a food that we have to pair with a movie or something. But we'll see how it goes. We've already dived into a few of these. So, but all right. Well, I guess it's time to go get everybody fed, and we will be back hopefully soon. But until then, make sure to tip your waitstaff. Yeah.
And buy a round of drinks for the kitchen.
That's right.
Don't forget about us.
Yeah. All right. Love you.
Love you too.